酸化素材硫酸ゲット。
おお、ならばついにルリネの万能薬を作れる時が来たのか。
いや、気が早えよ。見ただろ最初に。あの万能薬までのやべえロードマップ。
果てしなく長いやつか。
Hello everybody, Megazard X here. I'm back at it again to give y'all another episode review for Dr. Stone, being episode 13, Mass Warrior. And if you haven't already checked out my last week's review over episode 12, you can go ahead and click that card in the corner and check that video, and then come back and watch this one. But overall, for this episode, we're finally getting to see the results of a lot of previous episodes that were essentially building up the plot in terms of, you know, having Kohaku train Kinru and Genru at the same time in order to train for the grand bout. We had Chrome and Senku basically gathering up all of the chemical ingredients that they need in order to make the cure-all antibiotic. And we're finally getting to see the fruits of their labor as they're about to apply everything that they've been doing so far. And we're about to finally see their works all come into play. So overall, I was genuinely impressed with this episode though. But go ahead and sit back and relax and get comfortable as we're about to get ready to dive into this latest review of Dr. Stone.
は大体集まった。素材が揃った今、こっからはロードマップのまだ暗いマスを一マスずつゴールまで光らせてくだけだ。今日で一気に行くぞ。怒涛のケミカルクッキングだ。そそるじゃねえか。
おはよう世界グモーニングウォー地上に変えていくオルセイ一歩ずつ意志を浮かぶ将来この歩みで世界を広げよう。
So this episode can basically be summed up as the tale of two halves. Basically, the first half was basically the preparations that they kind of put into the cure-all drug, as well as kind of the preparations that the village people were basically getting ready to do that grand bout. And then the second half was basically the heated action moments where we got to see, you know, the test of courage and the test of skill and strength in terms of the grand bout and all of the shenanigans that kind of went down within at least the first round of the bout. So starting at the very beginning of the episode, we had Chrome, Senku, as well as Genru coming back from their adventure from them collecting the sulfuric acid. And it was a great relief for Suika as well as Kohaku to be able to see them come back safely. And now they pretty much essentially have everything they need, almost, to be able to create the cure-all drug. And so they almost got excited, but then kind of remembered there was this big old, extremely long roadmap in order to get all the... Once they had all the raw materials, for them to be able to create the new materials from it in order to be able to create the cure-all drug. So Senku basically starts going down to the breakdown, and one of the first things they made was hydrochloric acid, which if you hadn't taken chemistry, that's like one of the most dangerous acids that you can mess with, and depending on the dilution factor, it's been diluted or not, hey, that stuff can actually make you go blind if you get it in your eyes, or it can actually, you know, start to affect and maybe burn and actually like burn through your skin a bit. And then he also went on to create some chlorosulfic acid, and that obviously burns your skin if you happen to actually get all of that on you. And then they actually used the electricity that they made from their human-made generators to basically boil salt water so they can get sodium hydroxide from that. And basically, they actually use sodium hydroxide to actually melt bodies, you know, dead bodies, I guess, whenever you're trying to like cremate and do that kind of stuff when you're dealing with dead bodies and stuff. And then one of the most interesting things that they had to create was ammonium. And the way how they got this ammonium though, gosh, that made me crack up. They basically had, oh gosh, they had them two guys basically kind of walk to the edge of the woods, and they basically have to pee in order to get that ammonium. Now that was an interesting way to get it, and it made me laugh quite a bit though, but that was funny to see the way how Kohaku was like, are you really gonna have my sister drink that mess though? But overall that was a little nice touch though, but interesting way to get some ammonium. And then they basically had at least almost half of that chart done at this point, and the other half, they basically said, well, in order for us to make the rest of this stuff, we basically need alcohol. And then one of them happened to point out that said, hey, you know, if we actually win the grand bout, they'll give you enough alcohol for you to basically, it'll be so much where you would never be able to finish it all. And then this basically transitions to, well, now we get to finally see the fruits of their labor with Kohaku training Ginru as well as Kinru. And they basically, now we're about to transition over into the grand bout scheme of things. So basically in the village, you basically kind of see everybody kind of getting things ready. And then you see some people question like, hey, why in the world we're going to allow Kohaku to compete again? And then they were like, well, according to our long, generation of rules, essentially anybody can compete as long as they're above a certain age. I believe it was age 14, and they are unmarried. They're able to actually compete within this event. So anyway, we're basically about to start the grand bout, and it was basically kind of like the registration kind of period and everything. And interestingly enough, we knew Kinru and Ginru were gonna participate in this competition, as well as Kohaku again. If things go sour, she basically needs to win the whole thing again in order to reset it. But the interesting thing is, Chrome as well as Senku have basically applied to go and participate in the event as well. And the interesting thing about that is it allowed Senku to be able to bend the rules and actually allow him to set foot within the whole village, because basically according to the rules, there's nothing against an outsider competing in this event. So due to that, he basically found a loophole and was basically able to finally set foot within the village for the first time. Now, before they actually kind of got down to the selection and seeing, how the tournament was going to be basically lined up in terms of all of the matches, there was a very interesting moment where Ruri basically heard Senku's name and she started to act shocked. Like, she knew of the person but didn't actually know of the person. Because she basically, heard of his name somehow, but doesn't actually know the person like on a friendship or actually a relationship kind of level though. So it's interesting, you kind of saw her walking down the steps and basically said, hey, your name's Senku. Hey, what's your last name? And that shocked Senku, because basically in the Stone Age, most people aren't going to know about the term last names. Pretty much they're just probably going to go off a, first name basis. So that instantly, sparked a little question in Senku's mind, like, what are all the secrets that this girl Ruri knows? But before he's able to, give an answer or anything like that, Ruri basically passes out, due to her sickness and everything though. So they have to basically take her back up and, get her treated in the best way they could possibly do it for her. But that basically left a lot of questions in Senku's mind. So that is even more so a reason to basically motivate himself to find a way for their team to be able to win. So that way he can try and get that little bit of information from her, whatever she knows, because whatever she was about to say, I'm pretty sure it was super critical in terms of, just how things in society has been going within the stone world as it is now. And then now we finally get to see how the tournament is actually going to be divided up. So you saw the person kind of drawing the faces of the people that were in this tournament, and we had 8 people in total in this tournament. Now if we look at Senku's team, we basically have Kinru, Ginru, Chrome, Senku, and Kohaku. So basically we have 5 out of 8 people competing in this tournament that's on Senku's team. If any 5 of them were to win, they technically will be able to, accomplish their goal. However, Kohaku cannot win this tournament because, the winner of the tournament ideally has to marry Rui. So technically, even though they had 5 people, they can only actually have 4 of their people within their team to actually, legitimately win in terms of, accomplishing their goal. So what the original plan was for essentially Kohaku to face Magma earlier on in the tournament to essentially wear him down. So ideally, if they played their cards right, if the straws were drawn in the in the correct way, and chance and luck were on their side, ideally they wanted Magma on one side of the bracket, and they essentially wanted Kinru on the other side of the bracket, and everybody else that basically would have faced Magma on the left side of the bracket to essentially wear Magma down to the point that if he did manage to make it to the final round, with Kinru basically being on the other side, he basically will be facing a weakened Magma at that point, where he will be able to successfully manage to beat him in the final round in order for them to win the whole entire thing. So it would be super lucky if Kohaku was able to manage to fight Magma within like the first round on one side of the bracket and knock him out. So that way, by the time it, potentially her and Kinru, or let's say even Ginru for that fact of the matter, manages to make it on the opposite side to the final round, then she basically will just, make it an easy defeat and, make one of the guys win so they can, we can win the whole entire thing. But things do not go as easily as what one would hope so to be. Because essentially, the way how we got it lined up is Kinru is going to be facing Magma within the first round. And then you're going to have Chrome versus that short annoying dude that's Magma's friend, basically fighting in the second round. And in the third round, we're going to have Kohaku versus Senku. And that one's going to be very interesting, but for reasons I'm going to explain a little bit later, I think things are probably going to go a certain way with that match. And then lastly, we're going to have Ginru versus some unknown character that I don't think we've basically seen at this point, though. But he's like our mystery dude. We don't know the potential for that dude yet. So just looking at this bracket as a whole, oh gosh. Yeah, it's going to be fairly interesting. And we'll go ahead and talk about basically what happened in the event and kind of what I think is probably going to happen after this, though. But essentially, in the first round, we basically had Kinru versus Magma, which is ideally the match we wanted to have in the final round. So one of these two is going to get knocked out earlier, for better or for worse. And essentially, it seemed like Magma had the upper hand the whole entire fight. And as we discovered earlier, within like a few episodes ago, Kinru basically has the same kind of fuzzy sickness as, him not having a clear vision like Suika. And basically, he was not able to see as good from a far out distance or whatever, though. So for the most of the match, he was basically suffering. And while this match was actually going down, Magma's friend basically tied Suika up and basically came over to the group and said, hey, Suika's drowning in the river. And Kohaku's like, I know the dude is lying, but if there's a risk that, Suika's in trouble, I gotta do this because I'm the fastest one that can get there and back. And basically, Magma's whole plan with him and his buddy was essentially to take Kohaku out of the tournament. So that way, if Kohaku's out, no one will be able to stand a chance against Magma in the tournament. So basically, she's gone for a period of time. And somehow, Suika manages to break out of her ropes and manages to get back to the tournament while Kinru and Magma are actually facing off. So it's kind of strange how now Suika's back, she's safe, but Kohaku's still looking out there for her. And I feel like that's going to wind up being a conflict whenever her time to, take place in within the tournament is actually going to come up. I think it's going to be a little issue right there, though. But overall, you basically had Kinru and Magma still fighting off, and then Suika manages to play hero. She knows about his fuzzy sickness, and she basically takes her helmet off with the with the glasses that are built up into it, and throws it out to Kinru right as soon as he was about to get his. When Magma was about to give it his final blow and take him out of the tournament, he was finally able to see clearly and everything. So he was able to quickly evade and dodge all of Magma's attacks and give some final blows. And then essentially at the very end of the episode, we basically have Kinru essentially lay out Magma, and it seems like all is good, and it seems like Kinru almost is about to beat Magma. We don't know if that was an absolute win at that moment, or if he was about to deliver the final strike so that he was able to finally, finish that round. We do not know that yet, though. But that's essentially where the episode left us off with. So, somehow, looking at this tournament bracket, I'm awfully sure that Magma is not going to go down in the first round, because otherwise, there's not going to be, there's not going to be that much of a challenge within the bracket in terms of them, trying to get to the very end. Because unless you're telling me the person that Ginru is facing off to the far right side of the bracket is actually super strong and super talented, then I feel like Magma still has to find a way to, win this first match in order to give him a challenge. So this is my ideal prediction, and I'm going to see if this holds through for this whole entire tournament bout. But I'm thinking somehow Magma is going to play something dirty on Kinru. He's going to play something dirty on Kinru and find a way to beat him surprisingly and shocking everybody. Then I think Chrome is going to beat Magma's friend. So then it's going to be, Chrome advancing to the second round. I don't think Kohaku is going to be able to get back in time. So I think Senku is going to win by default. And then I think between Kinru and the mystery dude. I don't know. That's the toughest one to call right now. If I had to pick one or the other, I'm gonna go with the mystery dude. I just feel like there's gonna be something up with him that makes it a little bit of a challenge. Then going from the second round and trying to get into the semifinal round, I believe it's gonna be so it's gonna be Magma versus Chrome. And I still think, well, you know what? I actually think that Chrome is going to beat Magma in the semifinals. So Magma is going to get knocked out in the semifinals. So Chrome will make it to the finals. And then it's going to be Senku versus the mystery dude. And I'm thinking out of that one, the mystery dude is going to beat Senku. Like, basically, Senku won by default against Kohaku. And then Senku might put up a decent fight, but I think the mystery dude is going to beat him. So in the final, something that we all didn't really expect, it's going to be Chrome versus the mystery dude. And I think at the very end, Chrome is going to wind up winning the whole thing. Because, Chrome actually had feelings for Rui. So I'm thinking no matter what, against all odds, I feel like Chrome is going to be the winner of this whole entire bout. Even considering the fact that, Kinru and Ginru basically thought that they had the best chance in terms of their strength. That is my prediction. Chrome is going to walk away the winner from this whole entire grand bout. Now we're going to see how well my predictions hold up though, but I hope that it, I kind of hope it kind of goes that way because it kind of makes sense in my head though. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. So who do you think is going to be the winner, or who do you think is going to win certain matches? So you can just let me know all down in the comment section down below. But other than that, that is it for my episode 13 review of Masked Warrior. So if you really like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're at it and hit that bell so you can keep up to date on all things Dr. Stone I am currently reviewing or giving news updates for. So that is it for my episode 13 review. So next time, tune in for my episode 14 review, Master of Flame. So until whatever video I make next, see ya!
教えてやるマグマ。科学で目さえ克服すれば俺はとうにお前の力を超えていたのだ。